Syrian soldiers guarding the border against anti-regime fighters and people smuggling weapons. But just a few hundred meters away, I meet this officer, a member of the Free Syrian Army. Captain Ammar was one of the first Syrian soldiers to defect. This is the headquarters of the Liberation Brigade, a unit he established to lead the fight in northern Syria. And these are his men, largely outnumbered and outgunned. They operate more like guerrilla fighters.
We receive no weapons or any form of military aid. We mainly depend on our own means. The only financial support we get comes in the form of donations by the people. With that money, we buy weapons from the gangs of Assad.
Wawi says his only hope now is that the international community uses its military strength to enforce a no-fly zone. He wants humanitarian corridors created so that his fighters can operate freely. The international community remains very cautious on arming Syrian fighters, arguing that they are largely desperate and with no proper chain of command, and that sending weapons to the rebels in a country divided along sectarian lines could spark a full-blown civil war. Fears that have intensified recently following a series of bombings. But Wawi says he has no doubt the regime is behind the attacks, which are designed to discredit the pro-democracy movement.
As an officer, I was trained in explosives. I was instructed in how to booby-trap vehicles or clear mines. Our people reject these tactics. The regime has used explosives to portray the protesters as gangsters and criminals. But all evidence confirms now that all the explosions are the work of the regime.
Captain Wawi says the blasts in Syria are similar to those which have rocked Lebanon over the past few years. He says they were carried out by Syrian agents. But he warns that if the world doesn't help stop violence now, the whole region may be thrown into chaos. Hashim Al-Barra, Al Jazeera, Givenchy, along the Turkish border with Syria.